Welcome back to Game Soup. I'm Chloe. Joining me today is...
Kayla Dice. It's a game design podcast where we throw ideas in a pot and see what's cooking.
Okay, but we're like half an hour into the recording session.
I don't care that this is the second half of a recording block. I still respect the sanctity of our intro.
Well, it's only a podcast, love.
Welcome back. I'm back from Rift Fair, where I went.
How was it?
Oh, who knows? Who knows? I mean, I'm assuming I had a good time. I am currently in the middle of... Yeah, I've probably got like a form filling appointment on this week, and I've got some plans to go see my family this weekend.
Woo!
But before that, for Christmas, I'm doing loads of Christmassy stuff, which does mean I'm in the sort of final bits of shopping. How do you like Christmas shopping?
I do. I have barely had the money to do it in the last few years, but I do enjoy doing it, so...
Nice.
When we were down in London for Dragon Meet, we spent like an hour in the Waterstones buying basically everybody we know a Christmas present, so...
I'm so hyped now there's a new Waterstones near me. And I love that there were so few bookshops in Lewisham full stop. Like, the ones that are is, like, much further away from where this new Waterstones is, like, one that is, like, linked to the university, so it's, like, quite small and specialist. And then there's, like, a second-hand one way further out. So, like, a Waterstones opening is exclusively good news and has none of the drawbacks of usually, like, a big chain open somewhere.
It's going to kill all the local bookshops. No, there's no bookshops
there's nothing
to
kill. It's just exciting. It's just nice that, I don't know, if I go to the Chronic Pain group, I can then, like, swing by the Waterstones and just window shop a bit. But speaking of shopping, or speaking of Christmas, you had a Christmas gimmick idea for this episode.
I mean, I was going to be like, let's do Christmas songs as the titles for games, but a lot of them are just like, something about Christmas.
Well, this is such a good... Have you ever made a Christmas game?
I don't know, like... Let me look at my itch, because I have the memory of a fish these days. Does bitter cold count? That's wintry.
Wintry? I'd say it's more cold than wintry, though. Like... I imagine the environment where bitter cold is cold all year round. Like, there's no Everest in the summer. Like, obviously there is, but, like, you're still getting the ice and junk.
No, I haven't.
Okay. I've made one Christmas game. I made a one-page Christmas game, which is technically a solo game. But I've always said you could probably have a lot of fun playing this with someone else and just talking. You're a monster that has been called in to, like, as the substitute for Santa, because Santa's sick. I think the exact way I phrase it is like, Big Red is mighty sick, and that means you need to get in that big red suit and go deliver stuff. And so it's like just a bunch of prompts of people you deliver presents to, but if you roll those prompts again, it's like, you fucked up and gave them the wrong present, go back and fix this. And yeah. I think Christmas games are weird, right? Because, like, I think a lot of people like the idea of making them around Christmas, which is the worst, which with the time you'd put into them means you'd be selling them in the worst time to sell them, like January or something.
Yeah.
Unless you, like, put in way more forethought. Like, if you were... Do you think about release schedule ever? Or do you just think about, like, the stuff you are making when it's finished? What's the best time to release it then?
I mean, we think about, like, when's good to launch Kickstarters and stuff, but never like, oh, we should wait, like, a month to release Tournament Arc. It's like, if it's done...
Yeah. Yeah. You've never been like, oh, wait, you know, I've got, like... Like, I randomly had a thought, because I think I've mentioned this before on the podcast. Every couple of years, I pick up the idea of a game about Frankenstein, try and figure out what it is, and every time I'm like, I can't crack this. And I was like, man, if I finished the Frankenstein game in time for when, like, the Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein film drops, that would be a bit of, like... I could jump on that easily. But in general, I'm not really the person who thinks about release dates and that. So, and I feel like most TTRPG designers who would do a Christmas game aren't. So I don't think there are many people in September or October even just thinking, oh, I should make a game for Christmas.
Then let's make a game for Easter.
Well, what I was actually going to then segue here from this was do a Christmas Mouse in the House adventure.
Oh yeah, okay. So it's Christmas. Is it? I think it's like Christmas Eve, and all through the house, not a creature was disturbing it, except for several mice.
Yeah, I feel like this is like a high level adventure because high risk, but also if you ruin Christmas, like they're gonna be way more annoyed about if they find you.
Yeah.
And that adds the fun thing of so many, like, you get to alter all of your environments because they're now Christmassy and Christmas trapped.
Yeah, there's like ropes, which are just like Christmas lights that you can climb up and down. Obviously, you got the tree. I think it'd be fun, like, in the middle of the night, you have a kid coming down setting traps for Santa. That as the mice you have to avoid. Like, they've left a video camera out for Santa.
I think a really funny thing in this thing would also be, like, a meaning of Christmas, like, clock or something.
Yeah, you're trying to get a present for Mummy Mouse.
No, I think it's, like, along the thing, like, how much do you, like, keep the spirit of Christmas? And, like, that maybe affects, like, the consequences if you get caught with stuff. But also, I think this is a secret from the players, at the end of the thing, if they, like, got enough in keeping with the spirit of Christmas, it's like, oh yeah, Santa Mouse came and gave you all presents while you were out adventuring.
So
it's
you like, don't... It's like you have to avoid spoiling the big folks' Christmas, so that Santa Mouse... Yeah, oh, that's cute.
But I feel like that's only a thing the GM gets to know. I feel it's fully a, like, at the end twist that, like, oh, Santa Mouse has been while you were all away. And, like in the way, like, random sitcoms which canonically enshrine the existence of Santa will just have, like, you look up and you see Santa Mouse going, oh, Merry Christmas!
Why does Santa Mouse woof?
Yeah. I'm now going to throw out another pitch you could do because you just mentioned Easter. You could definitely do, like, a calendar of Mouse in the House adventures.
Yeah. Oh, and it's like, oh, there's an Easter egg hunt in the house, and, like, can you find some eggs so that Mummy Mouse can make her famous Easter omelette?
Yeah, you could add some, like, environment rules where it's like, oh no, there's a heat wave. These are where the fans are, but it also means they're more observant, more slow.
Oh, that's cute. Like a year of mouse quests.
Yeah, I think that's just genuinely a pitch of I think if you did that, it would be cute and cool.
Well, there we go. For the full, not zine edition of Mouse in the House, it'll have that, I guess.
I feel like Mouse in the House in general, you could probably do a fun thing of just, like, because you've got, like, a really solid set of rules. Yeah. I think it's definitely a game you could have a lot of fun just making random zines for. Yeah.
It's like we've got the zines for Tournament Arc that are getting finished, I promise. And it's like Alyssa's wanting to do like a full collected book of them, but it's like I like them as just like zines that are on like printed paper and we just staple them together and it's, kind of put together rather than like...
I think, yeah, and I think even if you did want to do more of a print run, I think like there is something fun, and also definitely for Mouse, but also I do think the same for Tournament Arc. There's something way more usable about like, oh yeah, the little zine packet that is like the specific things I'm engaging with here, rather than like the souped up edition of a book.
Yeah.
Though also I could see why you'd do a souped up, like include all the zine stuff in a souped up edition of Tournament Arc if you are knocking it to A5 at some point and having to relay out it. But, like, for Mouse, I'd definitely be like, I don't want to scroll through the big book of adventures. I want the little packets.
Yeah. I think maybe, like, oh, it's a subscription thing. They're all written out. Just we'll release them, like, a week before each holiday or whatever.
That'd also be nice. And then it's like, the calendar thing. Or I like the idea that like the only way to get the whole thing in advance is if you buy an upfront year's subscription.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's like, yeah, you can subscribe to the monthly thing. What else could we do with Christmas? Do we want to go to the random word generator, but one of our words has to be
Let's do an
Christmassy?
expansion for one of your games. No, it
okay.
is a Christmas adventure for one of your games. I don't think it's terminal because that's too serious. I think it's like maybe like you're on a work do and it's the infinite dance floor, maybe.
Yeah, let me go to my itch. Like, you could easily do a Christmas episode of Psycho Dungeon, but it's not the kind of thing that benefits expansions massively. I don't know, maybe there's like a life for zines around Psycho Dungeon or stuff. Like, obviously at one point I did think of coming up with a scenario dungeon where it'd be like, oh, here's this specific client and here's their specific issues. Maybe that's something I could do more of. And I feel you could do someone's Christmas trauma with that.
I think this recording of GameSoup is cursed.
You could definitely do, like, a Fear the Taste of Blood. Like, I could just do a Christmas monster, like, as a little horror show. But these are both, like, yeah, these kind of feel like one-page expansions that, like, I would do. Then a lot of my games take place in worlds where I'm like, I'm not sure how much Christmas exists. Infinite... I mean, I guess you could easily do the Infinite Shopping Mall for Christmas.
That works. Yeah.
To be honest,
it's a perfume department.
Yeah, you get stuck in a shopping center. Your obstacles are people you have to buy for. In terms of like, yeah, how the game works. Like, these are the people you have to buy for. There is this like Christmas playlist, and it's like anytime. I think it's maybe a bit more random than. Like, Infinite Dance Floor is a specific loop, whereas I think here it's like a quite long Christmas playlist, but if a specific song comes up that you have no idea when that song is, you get looped. So that could happen really early and you've barely done anything, or it could be like, oh yeah, we've got way longer than we'd have had at a set timer.
Yeah, maybe like you have a bunch of covers of the same song and those all cause the loop.
That also could be fun, yeah, if I made a playlist for it. Yeah, shopping center, you're making up, like, weird things. Every now and then, I have, like, quite a few of Infinite Dance Floor still left. I do think, like, oh, what would it be like if I did a next version of that game? Because there I wondered of some mechanical things I could do differently. Like, part of me is like, because it uses tarot at the moment, but, like, not much. And I'm like, could the game use tarot more? Or if I wanted it to use tarot less, what do I replace tarot with there? Which also could work and be fine. Like, part of me wonders, like, oh, is there a version where it's like a soft, like, Royal Blood Witch of the Westmoreland hack? But combining that with, like, the loop element of the original game. Anyway, every now and then when I wonder if I do another version, part of me is like, should I do it as, like, a sort of soft anthology, where it's, like, the infinite whatever? Like, it's just all experience of places you always feel like you're stuck. Shopping centers, nights out. There's maybe something you could do about bathrooms, if that wouldn't be too bleak.
The motorway.
Yeah. I think, yeah, that could be a sort of fun game or whatever. It would probably be like... I think it would probably be called something like Infinite or whatever. They'd probably have a way better name than that. But it would be a case that, like, oh yeah, here's all of these, like, play sets in there. But also maybe it's got, like, the sort of guide of how you, like, do some world building to make whatever you think the infinite place is. That's just a random idea for something I might do when I run out of the physical versions of Infinite Dance Floor.
So make sure you go buy a copy now so it can be made. Woo.
I was gonna... That... It's gonna remind me about things that I'm out of. Oh, I could... Because you've got, I don't know, 5 or 10 left on this episode. And we've done 2 Christmassy things. The Infinite Shopping Mall and Mouse in the Christmas House. You can go with a better name.
Yeah. I think I can.
Not even a mouse. But I had an idea thinking about our Spotify rap thing from 2 weeks ago. And then this was a thing I messaged you about because of the idea I had.
Oh yeah, you sent me like a bunch of rules.
Well, there we had that idea of like, oh, there's you're using your Spotify Wrapped and you are shuffling it, and if you get something matching your top 5 artists, that taps on that stat. And what I ended up pitching, just sort of thinking about that, but going off on it, was an idea where you see if you like 5 genres or like 5 spheres or stats or whatever. Each character has a playlist that starts at 5 songs, and they pick songs from each of these 5 stats or whatever, or 5 like elements or whatever you want to call it, that ratio fits their character. So it could be like you've got 7 rock songs and then 3 of everything else, and you have no jazz, which is going to really screw you over. And then anytime you encounter an obstacle, it's like a 5-way rock, paper, scissors thing, like how a lot of like Pokemon stuff work, but it's just a binary, like, does this work or does it not? So it's keyed to a genre or an element or whatever. You shuffle the playlist, and so it's like, okay, shuffling my playlist. Oh, fuck yeah, I got a rock song for this rock obstacle. That means I'm gonna beat it. But if it's like, oh no, I landed on like hip hop when I was trying to get through like a pop gate, that's not worked. And then sometimes it's like, oh yeah, we definitely want the person whose songs is just like 8 versions, who's just 8 EDM songs. We definitely want him to try and fight the electricity monster. But like, you do not want them to have to do something that's going to need a better genre mix. That feels
it's like you can hyper specialize your character or not. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, my like this was this a. I think this was an off-mic conversation I had just with you between episodes, where I was saying I kind of like the idea of maybe trying to get more into doing some like Ashcan stuff. Mainly, like, I feel almost like for like ideas on this, because like Nemesis Retribution has taken a very long time from the episode we did to this actually coming out as a finished game, and partly it's because I made this a complete game. But like, what I have with this idea here, that's like a core mechanic. And part of me is like, yeah, maybe if I just make an Ashcan of a game where I'm dressing up a core mechanic, some world-building pick lists, and like a loose game structure, and that's enough to be like an Ashcan of something that I think is a fun idea.
Yeah. I think like being able to just like, yeah, I put this together in a day, let's do a playtest, is certainly something. And it's like, if people like really like it, then you know to develop it into a full game. It's like, you don't want to spend 6 months making something and then nobody enjoys playing it, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely. What my question would be for this random game, be like, what could this be about?
I think it's finally Kayla Dice's phonogram game.
See, I feel like, yeah, it's clearly very influenced by phonogram, but I think to some idea, you're not deliberately grabbing something from a song you have control of, you're tapping into some element of your soul, and that can be a bit random.
Yeah. Or
it feels like
it's a Trolls, the DreamWorks movie.
Ooh,
game.
Terrible, but
where you have to tap into the genres to like balance the world.
Yeah, no, that's truly terrifying. Well, one thing I did think is like, originally I was like, oh fuck, what are the 5 broadest genres? And then I was like, maybe this game is funner if I just say these are these 5 elements, and like part of the like pick list that establishes it and makes it a game are like, oh, what are these 5 elements? So you might go like, oh, it's fire, and then like, what genre is fire? And it's like, okay, yeah, we've decided all songs by Carly Rae Jepsen are that's what the fire element is. Like, let people be really niche if they want to be, Like, some
Yeah.
people, if they want, could do, like, yep, here's all 5 elements are different micro-genres of metal, versus me having to pitch something that has, like, the broadest appeal to, like, any possible group. Or you could even do it, like, broadly emotional, or, like, you could say, like, oh yeah, 60s through to, like, 2010s is, like, the 5 elements. Or it's just, like, songs
Ballads
like
versus
that make
villain
you cry.
songs from Disney Disney movies, like.
Yeah, I think like that lets you do some fun world building stuff. I guess it's like, does this game have an objective? Is it like you are a group of people who are going to do this thing? And then it's like, what is your group and what is the thing?
It's a new subclass for D&D.
Yeah. Oh, you love to throw me some of the worst ideas.
Thank you for listening to Game
Listen
Soup.
to Game Soup.
Have a happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Wow, Mouster Claus, you're real.